Hey, boys, girls, women, men, children of all ages. How you doing? It's Anthony Sika. That's right. It's Anthony Sika, the creator, writer, artist, letterer, publisher of Misty America and Venerella and Oh My God and Wild Mercury comics. I'm taking this time on a Sunday evening to to say hi, to chat, to talk about some fun stuff, talk about comics, talk about pop culture, talk about my own crowdfunding. That's right. I want to talk about my crowdfunding. I am a indie publisher, indie creator, and I have a campaign going called Misty America #3. That's right, not number 1, number 2, or 3, or just number 3. It's my third issue. I've published 2 issues in the last 12 months. So in addition to my comic Venerella, I am crowdfunding Misty America #3 on Indiegogo. That's right, Indiegogo. And only on Indiegogo. There's 7 days left to crowdfund Misty America #3. I'm going to share the page on Indiegogo and the campaign. Got a couple of guests possibly joining me this evening. I have a good buddy of mine, a fellow comic skater, a fellow comic fan, Mr. Agent Camp. He's going to be joining me in a few minutes, and we're going to be chit-chatting, shooting the shit, talking about comics, pop culture, all kinds of crazy stuff. Talking about, I don't know, Snow White just because the algorithm said so. Going to talk about Fantastic Four. Going to talk about how much money he spends at Big Lots. I mean, Ollie's, not Big Lots, Ollie's. We're going to talk about my receding hairline and his. We're going to talk about toys. We're going to talk about Misty America #3. We're going to talk about Venerella. We're going to talk about Dan Fraga. That's right. I'm going to spill some tea tonight. I'm going to spill some tea about Mr. Dan Fraga. I'm going to spill some tea about PTP. I'm going to spill some tea about PTP. It's going to be fun. I never engage in drama farming of any sort. But hey, I got 7 days left on my campaign, and what the hell? If any hits, any views, any clips, any cuts, any katydid clips of any sort was always useful in this day and age of desperation and trying to make a couple of extra $100 this week. Anyway, hey, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my good buddy, Mr. DeCamp, Agent DeCamp.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Hey, Agent DeCamp, how you doing tonight?
Oh, pretty good. Took me a little while to get set up.
That's okay. It's well worth it because you got
Yes.
fantastic audio. Fantastic
good.
audio tonight.
Good.
I saw you change into your Misty America hat.
Yep.
You're totally rocking.
Of course.
We're going to
And I
talk
got
about
Ms. Marvel too.
we're going to talk about movies, comics, our receding hairlines, our facial hair.
Yeah, I need to shave.
Yeah, it's all right. You're looking hot. You know, you're looking hot.
That's what my wife says.
Too much information. As I told you the other day, when I saw you out in the wild, you know, I didn't even recognize you. I thought you were Tom Selleck or something. Anyway.
Oh no, I'm too fat for that.
So we're gonna get right into it, okay?
And I won't sell you a reverse mortgage either.
That's true. Good deal. I'm going to talk about some crazy stuff tonight.
Okay.
As I stated, and you probably heard, I have 7 days left on Misty America #3. Okay, on Indiegogo crowdfunding, blah 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 diddy blah diddy blah. Anyway, that's going on, and I want to get as many hits on the algorithms and the interwebs traffic in action as I can. So here's our first topic. Ready? If you're listening, Internet AI, I want you to hear this loud and clear. Snow White. Okay?
Snow Brown?
Snow White. So So with no further ado, or just getting right into it, Snow White, and the Seven Hippies. Um, you know what?
The
It's
Seven
funny.
Monsters.
Yeah, you can't really trust the news by saying, oh, it's woke or it's this or it's that,
Mm-hmm.
or it's an abomination, compared to the original 1937, I think, original cartoon. If anybody's watching the chat, and I mean anybody of the 0 people watching, if you want to chime in, please chime in the comments, all that stuff. But really, 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 I have to say, you know, um, I I didn't see the movie. Did you?
No, I'm not going to.
There is no way on this earth that I would buy a ticket to go see that movie. Um, I didn't even go see Captain America Falcon, whatever it's
I
called.
did.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask you about it, but I didn't see it, and I had no interest in seeing it, not because it's woke or non-woke, or
Right.
because it's Sam Wilson and not Bucky or whatever. But I just didn't see it because I wasn't interested. It wasn't because I hate Marvel, or say, oh God, Marvel sucks now or whatever. I don't care. It just hit me at a certain month. First of all, my dad was in the hospital after suffering a stroke, so my family was busy. Um, and I just didn't have the chance to go to the theater. And I do love going to the theater and getting a big buttered popcorn and enjoying a cinematic. It could either be masterpiece or fluff. I don't care. I do like the movie going experience. So to be transparent, I didn't go see it for that reason. I was having
Mhm.
some financial woes. I was having some family issues going on. And it just wasn't, the timing wasn't right. Now, the last movie I think I saw in the theaters was, besides Deadpool and Wolverine, I think I went and saw the Bob Dylan biopic with Timothy Chalamet, called A Complete Unknown. Being a big music fan, a big Bob Dylan fan, my son's named Dylan after Bob Dylan, all that stuff. But that's neither here nor there. And also, it was done by James Mangold, who directed Logan and also Walk the Line and some other, high end cinematic achievements.
Mhm.
So he was on, and sometimes I don't like to be bougie, but there are certain directors who I like to see what they're doing. I like to see Christopher Nolan movies.
Mhm.
I like James Mangold movies, and I like the guy who did vast variety of films. And I forget the director's name. Hey, Katie did. Got a shout out from Katie Did's channel right there. Katie did. If
Katie.
you want to come on and say hi, please do. I put an invite in our Comic Skate Dead Room, or whatever it's called. Um, anyway, it used to be called the Green Room, but now it's called the Dead Room. So James Mangold, he's a director I like to see. I love seeing Christopher Nolan. I love seeing the gentleman who I don't remember who directed Dune 1 and Dune 2. He also directed Sicario, and he also directed the new Blade Runner movie, or the most recent Blade Runner movie, whatever, Blade Runner 2049 or whatever. I do like seeing directors. Oh, there's a new room. All right,
James Cameron.
Katie did, real quick, send me an invite or a link to the new room when you get a chance. Thank you. I'm trapped in the dead room. Yeah, James Cameron films. James Cameron isn't the director in question I'm talking about, but it's in that ilk. So the truth be told, Snow White and the Seven Hippies was not on my radar, and neither really was Captain America. And to me, it's the same thing. It's something that I'm not interested in seeing. I won't see it. Will I see it when it comes to streaming out of curiosity?
Of course you
But,
will.
but of course, and I will see it with bells on, because to be honest with you, I'll be like in bed or in the living room, possibly in the underwear, scratching myself watching a good film or a bad film. It doesn't matter. Speaking of films, I actually saw Craven the other day on
hmm
Netflix, and I'm sorry to say I enjoyed it. Don't care if it had anything to do with Spider-Man or not, but I liked it. As a film, I dug it. That's all I'm going to say. It was action packed. It was an easy story to follow. Um, and there was nothing wrong with it. And Aaron Taylor, whatever his name is, he was great in it, and it was bloody. Thank you very much, Katie. Did no, I wasn't moved over, but I'm glad I am now because I felt like I was in a dead zone in there. So thank you. Katie did just said she just moved me into a a a a new room for Comic Skaters Online, and I was in this dead room, floating around like Flotsam and Jetsam, trying to promote my new campaign. That's okay, Katie. Did you're doing the Lord's work, and you've always
She's a
you
sweetheart.
done solid by me. And on the other hand, my campaign this last 2 months of Misty America #3 is like in the toilet. But that's okay. Venerella 4 is coming. Look, it's so bad. Agent DeCamp's even leaving with his Cyberfrog blankie. He's leaving. What an irony. What a conundrum. What a just a mixed bag Agent DeCamp is. He's got a Cyberfrog towel or blanket or shirt
Yep.
behind him,
Towel.
and then
Towel.
he's got
Oop.
and then he's got the most wokest of woke T-shirts of Miss Marvel on his
Oh
on
no,
his.
she was cute.
I'm joking. Anyway, um, and oh yes, thank you, Katie. Did Katie? I would love to be on your show tomorrow morning, but alas, I have to work, so I can't jump on your show. But please promote it all you can. All right, and I will think about putting in demand. I'd rather force people to buy it in the next 7 days and put it in demand, but I'll take that in consideration because I need the money. But anyway, neither here nor there. Thank you for mentioning it. Please continue to plug, and I'll send you a copy. Um, Agent DeCamp is either Agent DeCamp is frozen or I'm frozen. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully, hopefully he's frozen and not me. I'm still talking, but he could be talking, and I could just be watching myself. I don't know if I'm connected or not. Agent Camp left the building. Anyway, that's a super close up of me and my spectacles. I don't really use glasses. These are reading glasses, and I'm using them because I'm drawing right now. I'm actually working on a page of from Misty America #3. If you see, there's some ink there. This is a very rough pencil page. This is how I work on 11 by 17s. And I'm just finishing this page. I have about 6 pages left of the book. And hopefully I'll be done in a week or two. I'll go to the printer a couple weeks after that. This is a really nice spread I'm doing. This is a splash page. And I have panel page. Actually, these there's 4 panels or 3 panels up here. I'll be right with you, Agent DeCamp. There's 3 panels up here, and then I have this spread of Misty sitting on an office chair, smoking with a bunch of monitors behind her, kind of like the Matrix or Batman, and I got to work on some.
I don't know what happened if it was me or you.
I don't know, but what was so fun? I think it was you because I was still getting messages from Katie did. But
Oh, okay.
what was weird is that position that you had was how you
Mhm.
froze, and then you came back the same way. So I don't know. I don't know, but as long as you can hear the sound of my voice, we're still alive, and I can hear the sound of your voice, so that's good. But getting back to movies, I didn't see those films, but I did see Craven, and for an action movie, whether it was Marvel or not, or Marvel based or not, it was still a good film. And to be honest with you, they introduced the chameleon at the end. Spoiler. So it was kind of cool. And and anyone who has Netflix, I think it's on Netflix. Go watch it. It's in the top 10 this week, and it's a decent film. So
I liked it.
Yeah. Oh, you watched it too?
Oh yeah, my wife stayed awake for the whole thing too.
Yeah. Good. Oh, that yes. You know what? So did mine.
Yeah, we
Mine
bought it.
Mine did too. She stayed awake, which blew me away because
I know,
usually
because if Annette falls asleep, it's no good.
it's like an hour into a superhero movie, if that, and it's
Yep. Yep.
and if she didn't see the Marvel logo in the beginning, she wouldn't have known it was a superhero movie. So that's another thing. But
Well, actually, it's supposed to be a super villain movie. I don't know why they keep glorifying the
yeah,
villains.
well, because they like the anti-hero thing, and to be honest with you, let's go back. I actually really like. I went to the theaters with my whole family, and we saw Venom 3. And I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was entertaining and fun. You frozen again, or is it me? Are you frozen, 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 or is it me? Are you frozen? Maybe you're frozen. Maybe I'm frozen. Maybe you're frozen. Maybe it's me. Is it me or
There you
you,
go.
buddy?
No, it's me. I figured out what
Um,
it is.
okay, just checking.
It's my VPN.
Yeah, you're very
There, you still there?
protective. Yeah, you. Hello, hello, hello,
Okay, let
hello.
me reset that.
Man, Department of Comics says it's me. It's me. It's me. It's me.
It was
Somebody can pay his internet bill to this month.
no, it was my VPN.
Your VPN.
Yes.
What's that? Your very protective network or something?
Yeah, so nobody knows where I am. It says I was in the Midwest.
Really? Were you in the Midwest?
No, I'm actually in Northeast Florida.
Oh, really? Don't tell them where. Shh, you'll dox
Oh, I don't
yourself.
care.
But anyway, as I was saying, Venom 3, whatever that was called, The Last Dance.
Last Dance, that was good too.
I loved it.
Yep.
I mean, my whole family went to the theater and saw it. It cost me like $280 to take them to the movies after popcorn and soda. But
Yep.
you know what? It was a really fun time, and I loved it. I mean, I didn't like the second one. I loved the first one. The second one I didn't like, but the third one knocked out of the park for me. I thought it was a really fun movie. It was nice seeing Null there, Donnie Cates.
For the whole 10 seconds.
Donnie Cates is probably happy. Probably got $1 million for that 10 seconds.
Oh no, Marvel doesn't do the stuff like DC does.
Oh yeah, you're right. They don't do that equity.
He might have got $500.
Yeah, he just got now. He's able to get internet post or maybe he actually got to make comics again.
Or be on the red carpet for the
premiere. He's kind of been blacklisted for a while.
Yeah.
But he was like, I think, sacrificing goats and shit. So
I'm sure.
And he got divorced too and got in a car accident and all kinds of shit. So anyway, that's neither here nor there.
I enjoyed Venom 3. I didn't mind Venom 2 either. To me, it was entertaining. All three of them were entertaining.
No, all three are entertaining. I just didn't like I just didn't like the treatment of Carnage. I just
right.
But other than that, no, it's great. And I love Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock. So really good, really good. But that sort of thing is really entertaining. Just like I said, I went and saw them. I didn't see it in the theaters, but looking at your shirt, I saw Marvels and I liked it. It was fun. It was.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
It was easy to follow. These things where these movies where they criticize and they say, oh, it's like watching a CW show. Well, at least in a CW show, you know what the fuck's going on.
Exactly.
Yep. And there's a lot of movies out there that Marvel has made or Warner Brothers or any companies have made that kind of like they're so pretentious in their, in their message that you're like, what just happened? It's like watching Fast and Furious movies. You're like, what's going on? And that's it. Now, what's not like that? Misty America 3. Misty America 3 continues the tale from the first two issues. It brings it home. You find out why Colonel Rankin is doing what he's doing, and you have a resolve. And of course, like every comic book I make, there's a cliffhanger at the end. Agent DeCamp has read Venerell 3. There was a cliffhanger on that issue.
Is there any WTF moment like that?
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
There's always, every issue, everything I've ever done, even when I started doing my Oh My Gods,
Right.
Before I was crowdfunding, every issue has a WTF splash page as the
Mhm.
last page
Mhm.
because that's the way I want.
Well, no, Venerella 3 had it in the earlier in the book.
Well, that's true. That's true. But
Yes. That was the
that's true.
WTF moment.
Yeah, and that was and and I threw that in to make people continue reading instead
Right.
of just looking at the cover. Um, and again, you know what? Let's digress for a second. I think that's a big problem with comic book readers and collectors today
Mhm.
is that they only buy comics to look at the covers or to collect the covers,
Ooh,
and
it's a trading card.
right, and they don't actually read anything.
No.
And like I'm gonna talk about some big two stuff that I've been reading.
Mhm.
Whether you're a fan of Tom King or not, I've been reading that Black Canary Fight Club book that he's
I'm
made,
I'm waiting for it to finish so I can read it all in one shot.
and I actually love it.
Do you?
It's really good.
I'm reading Wonder Woman and I hate it.
Yeah.
The art is beautiful.
And
That's the
that's
only reason why I keep reading
well,
it.
I have to I'm gonna disagree with you for one thing. The very last issue, this
Mhm.
what it was 14 or 15,
I haven't read that one yet then.
it was really good.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I was like shocked at how good it was because it was like really, really, really good. Now I don't
Right.
know, slow burn, not whatever he's
Mhm.
doing, whatever. But if we're gonna talk specifically about King stuff, the Black Canary series,
Mhm.
miniseries is fantastic.
Does he try to go back and forth between 3 different timelines in that one too?
Yeah, he's delving into the reason why she's fighting, which if you
Okay.
haven't read it, I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Mhm.
And then what he does is, yes, what's happening is the fight's going on throughout the series, and then he's going back to show you what led up to the fight.
Mhm.
So yes, it is jumping all over the place. Like,
Right, we see that's the problem he had with, Batman, Catwoman,
yes,
and
yes,
the problem he has with Wonder Woman. He
right,
has current, he has past, he
right,
has future,
right.
and I think he
Well,
loses track of what he's doing because the current part of the storyline,
yeah.
he's done absolutely nothing with it what he started in issue
Right,
1.
right.
Nothing.
Well, this new issue, though, as I said, 15, 14 or 15, whatever they're up to on Wonder
Yep.
Woman, is revelatory and really good.
Mhm.
I have to say, okay, and
Right,
I'm not just kidding, but it is really good. And
right.
there were a few issues in the first 13 issues where they were battle intensive, where it was
Mhm.
Wonder Woman fighting all those villains.
Right.
That was really good. I
Yeah, but
thought
the
some of
whole premise of the story started with the one Amazon being a murderer and the
yeah,
US kicking all the Amazons out of the country, which was
right.
ridiculous.
Right.
And he hasn't touched anything with that Amazon yet.
Yeah,
The murderer.
he did he has
Oh, okay.
in the last 2 issues, he
Oh, it's
has,
about time. Okay, it only
yeah.
took over a year.
Yeah, well, it's again,
Well, they had to have the Wonder
he's
Woman Superman shopping
right,
issue too.
right, and that was yeah, but, again, that was a filler, and whether that was a and then he had I think the 1 or 2 Tony Daniel issues that
Mhm,
were in there that kind of digressed from the storyline, but
mhm.
hey, whatever. But the art's fantastic, we
I
can
don't
both
understand why these writers and artists can't keep a monthly schedule. It
I don't
boggles my mind.
I don't know either,
And
but
they try to say, "Well, gee, my art is so detailed." You ever see how many books George Perez did at once?
yeah, well
And he did team books.
yeah, well, I think, Agent,
Yep.
the people of today don't have the work ethic of the people of the '70s. I mean,
No.
it's so funny, like, today's even
Mhm,
the thumbnail that I was gonna do was gonna be a John Byrne, Fantastic Four graphic.
mhm.
Um, the the artists back then, they were doing a page a day, 2 pages a
Yep.
day, 4
Oh,
pages
yeah.
a day
Yep.
because they were paid by the page, and they were trying to feed their families.
Right. Well, they're still paid by the page. It's just that
Right, but
Marvel does minimum wage.
so you're right, and they're paying like $50 a page, if that, and,
Yeah, I heard it was 35.
right, and that's terrible, and DC, you know, can we attribute some stuff to just laziness,
Oh, of course.
um, some stuff to the fact that that guy Daniel Sampieri who does
Mhm.
Wonder Woman. And by the way, he's a fantastic artist.
Yeah.
But it's 2025, you know.
Mhm.
Now, to be fair, I have to say this though. I do know that most of these artists are 3 or 4 months ahead of schedule, okay?
Mhm.
Because if you follow these people on Instagram, so to speak, right? Or
Right.
as an example, Instagram, some of these artists like Daniel Sampierre or
Mhm.
whatever, they'll show pages or done covers or
Right.
finished interiors like 6 months ago that are just hitting now.
Right.
I think it's not just the artist's deadlines, but I think it's editorial, it's
Mhm.
administrative, it's publishing, it's so funny that the world is so technologically advanced, yet everything takes longer than it used to.
Mhm.
Because I remember stories, and if you listen to Rob's Servations, sometimes you'll hear Rob Liefeld talk about, well, when I was doing Major X or when I was doing Deadpool team up or whatever
Mhm.
this last year, he's like, this thing was done in October, but it
Right.
didn't come out till February.
Mhm.
That's because it gets in it gets in the assembly line of the
Well, the
production.
thing is probably with Rob Liefeld, though, is they wanted to make sure he had it done before they published it
Right.
because he is notorious for not finishing.
Yeah, but to be fair, with his work ethic in the last year,
Mhm.
again, he was done with the entire book in
Right.
October because he
Right.
announced it. He's like, it's done, it's off sent to the printer, yet the book didn't come out till February because
Mhm.
of the timing. Also,
Right.
they're so busy with their variant covers and their number one
Oh,
issues
yeah.
over that DC and Marvel don't
Yeah, I
know what
know.
the fuck they're doing.
Right.
And also remember that in the 70s, you mentioned George Perez, the bullpen of Marvel was only about 10 guys. It
Right.
wasn't 200 guys,
Right. Right.
Rich Buckler, George Perez, John Byrne, Walt Simonson, um, Art Milgram.
Mhm.
Those guys were doing all the books. You know what I
Right.
mean? They
Yep.
were Armin Infantino or whatever, Paul Cooperberg. Those
Mhm.
were the guys, John Romita Jr. They were all doing the
John Romita
books.
Sr.,
John Romita Sr. still too. Jim Starlin.
John
These were
Buscema, Sal Buscema.
John
Yep.
Buscema, the Buscemas, and then the late what is it, 74 and 81,
Mhm.
Jack Kirby was doing everything,
Oh,
covers
yeah.
for every issue, interiors. So you're talking about guys that were used to working their ass off,
Mhm.
and they weren't on Instagram, they weren't on Twitter, or X, they weren't on Blue Jay, whatever blue, whatever,
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky. They weren't on Reddit. They weren't on YouTube doing this shit. They
Right.
weren't doing interviews. So I think there was a different work ethic back then,
Mhm.
and everything was done by hand, and they
Right.
knew it had to be. And to be fair, you know, all the companies, all the big guys had background artists and layout artists that worked with them.
Mhm.
Okay. Whether it's Rob Liefeld and his Extreme Studio clones like Danny
Mhm.
Miki and all those people, or,
Right.
I know that George Perez got his job doing backgrounds and layouts for
Mhm.
Rich Buckler and some other
Right.
guys, the Joe Statons of the world, all those guys, they all did. In other words, in the, if John Byrne even, well, not John Byrne, but like,
Yeah, John Byrne did his own backgrounds.
but Dick Giordano, for example,
Mhm.
I hear
Yes.
that he had like 10 guys working for him
Oh,
underneath.
yeah. Yeah.
And Neil Adams, even worse. Neil Adams
Mhm.
had a bunch of guys doing his shit.
Right.
He had all his continuity people doing it,
Mhm.
And who knows if Joe Kubert, even in his later years, had some students doing this and that from the
Mhm.
school, because
Right.
they all were trained in the same style,
Yep.
But the thing is that back then they did have apprentices and people
Mhm.
that wanted to bust into the industry working for them doing
Right.
backgrounds, or Joe Staton or Dick Giordano's like, hey, I don't want to draw this car. Hey, Wally in the mailroom, will you draw this car? So
Mhm.
shit was getting done quicker, and also because it's all they had. There were no video games, there were no Funko Pop divisions, other than Mego
Right.
toys
Mhm.
and all the licensing on lunch boxes and shit, which were
Right.
existing art anyway, and the
Mhm.
little 45 records, that they used to make.
Yep.
There was nothing else to do but the comic books. So I think
Right.
these guys were disciplined in the art of drawing comics
Mhm.
and getting them done in time. And that's all I can attribute to. I mean, I've spoken to like the guy when I used to work for Lou Mana,
Mhm.
who was a guy in New York who worked for DC. And he used to show me layouts that he was working on. He was doing
Right.
work for DC's House of Mystery and this and that.
Mhm.
And you know what's fucked up? He wasn't getting credit on any of it.
Wow.
In other words, he was getting paid the moolah
Mhm.
to draw and lay out these pages, but he wasn't necessarily getting credited, you
Well,
know,
that's weird.
because he was doing the grunt work. You
Right.
understand? He wasn't the main guy. He wasn't Neil Adams. He wasn't Rich Buckler. He wasn't Dick Giordano. But he was
Mhm.
working for all these guys, doing some piecemeal work. Oh, hey, I got this page, but I haven't finished it. But I need it done tomorrow. Could you draw all the trees in the background?
Right.
It would be that. That would be the gist of it. So
Well, that's one of the interesting things is like if you look at John Romita Jr., everybody's like, look at how his art style changed back from when he used to do Iron Man, and it really didn't change because back in the early '80s, late '70s, when he was on Iron Man, he was only doing layouts. It was Bob
right,
Layton doing everything
right,
else. So
right,
all that looked like Bob Layton's art.
right.
It didn't
And
look like Romita's art.
right, and people that say his changed, no, look at his run on X-Men,
Hmm.
Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah.
The Uncanny X-Men looks just like Kick-Ass and
Right,
Daredevil
right.
and
He always had
everything.
that blocky style,
Yeah,
but when he was doing layouts on Iron Man,
right.
Layton cleaned it all up.
And anybody who talk about blocky style,
Mhm,
anybody who's constantly dissing on like 82-year-old whatever Frank Miller
mhm.
needs to pick up the first Ronin series.
Oh, I
Uh,
know that. Yeah.
Needs to look at every issue of Sin City.
Mhm.
Needs to look at everything he's ever done.
Right.
Fuck. Needs to look at the Dark Knight, man.
I know,
The
well, that's another thing is, a lot of people are like, "Oh, his art style changed," and it really
No,
didn't.
it
It's just
didn't.
that back when he was on Daredevil, he had Klaus Janson cleaning
Right.
everything up, you know?
Exactly. And that's the thing is that, and also even when he did Wolverine, he had Rubenstein doing the inks.
Mhm.
But the thing is
Right.
that you got to understand, like back then, though, he was actually swiping other people's styles. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Right.
He was swiping styles to do that Wolverine first miniseries and to do uh, Daredevil.
Mhm.
But once he hit Dark Knight, I mean, pick up a copy of Dark Knight, even
Right.
with Clive Johnson's great inks. Every single picture
Mhm.
looks all wonky and weird.
Right.
But that's his style.
Mhm.
Walt Simonson was the same way. I don't know where, and it goes all down the line. Eric Larson, you can keep going and going and going. Um, Mike Mignola, it's the same thing. It's like, why can't these guys do what they want? Why can't anybody see that this is not a style that they just got because they're older?
Right.
This guy, he's been drawn like this for 35 years.
Yep.
It just depends on how pronounced it is.
Right.
I don't know. Even those comic skaters going on, redrawing his Shadow Cat or whatever picture.
Mhm.
I thought that was unnecessary. I mean,
I didn't see that one.
yeah, it was just like, everybody kind of like, oh, Frank Miller can't draw anymore. That's bullshit. Frank Miller knows,
Right.
Frank Miller has more talent in his tip of his pinky than
Mhm.
you do in your whole fucking body.
Right. Right.
So people need to get off Frank Miller.
Yeah, Miller knows how to do the storytelling. He
Right.
knows how to make the pictures tell a story.
And by the way, and again, I'm going to say this for the millionth time on video, in person, on X, on Facebook, whatever. Do not make fun of people's style if you value Jack Kirby.
Right.
Jack Kirby, any guy that just kind of, if an alien came to Earth right now and said, "Show me the king of comics," and we gave the aliens a copy of, I don't know, Commandy or something,
Mhm.
the aliens would laugh and say, "What the fuck is this?" But it can't be denied, the guy, he is the king,
Mhm.
and his wonky fists and wonky faces and wonky everything. So
Right.
what? It was the storytelling behind it
Mhm.
that was so appealing
Yep.
to this
He was
day.
able to do the dynamic panels.
Right, and no one will ever be able to match. Talk
Right.
about someone who used to do, like, 10 pages a day or whatever,
Mhm.
and again, to feed his family,
Right. Oh, he'd do like 3 or 4 titles a month.
To put money on the table is what he
Right.
did, and that's really what it is.
And the amazing thing back then when they did the so-called Marvel method is he and Stan would just, talk about the story and say, I want to go from here to here. And Kirby would go and draw it all, and then Stan would just fill in the dialogue.
Of course, of
A lot
course.
of times he didn't even know what was going on. He had to stop and ask Kirby, "What's this?"
Of
You
course,
know,
and we all know that. We all know that
you know,
that is the way it was. So, but the thing is that you know, style is style,
right?
and more people that had their own style like the guy that's doing Absolute Batman, whatever,
Hmm.
Nick Durianjo, whatever.
Dragato,
What,
Dragato.
right? I think I like it.
Yep.
I like the story.
Right.
The one issue that I didn't like of it is the one where he stepped away from an issue. They had a guest artist, and I thought it
Oh,
sucked.
that threw you off so
It was
bad.
terrible. But the actual story and his little heads and huge bodies and whatever doesn't
Right.
bother me at all
Right.
because it's really dynamic storytelling, and it reminds me of Frank Miller's Dark Knight because
And
it's
everybody's making fun of Bane's little head.
right, yeah, and that's fine. But like I saw someone kind of reply to Graham Nolan. Much respect for being a co-creator of Bane, but someone put pictures of Kelly Jones's Bane
Right.
on there, and Kelly Jones's head was just as small, if not smaller.
Right. Exactly.
It's like that's
I
like
was I was never a Kelly Jones fan.
but that's like Sienkiewicz's Kingpin or whatever. It's like the guy's 8 million pounds and 12 feet, and he's got a little
Right.
tiny pinhead,
Yep.
like a little Beetlejuice head. But whatever, it's artists have to interpret things the way they interpret.
Right.
Whether it's costumes or whether it's movies or whether it's art, you guys got to understand that it's interpretation, and it's the way that
Right.
I'm not going to draw Batman the way Don Newton drew Batman, or
Mhm.
Jim Aparo drew Batman, or Neil Adams drew Batman right behind me. I'm going to draw Batman the way I would draw Batman. And
Well, the other thing people need to understand is fantasy.
well, people
You know.
need to understand that it's a two-dimensional line art on a piece of paper. It's
Yeah, but
that's
they,
all.
they, they don't understand that it's fantasy. They're talking about proper proportions. They
Like,
talk
okay,
about ages.
so
You know.
let's get back to Snow White. Algorithm. Snow White. I don't mind that Snow White skin is not perfectly alabaster.
No,
What I
no.
what I do what I do
Rachel Zegler is an attractive woman or a
right,
girl. I mean, I'm
but
old enough that she's a girl.
but
Okay.
but that hairstyle is so, and she does look
That
like
that
Lord.
was the Snow White hairstyle.
She does look like Lord Farquaad from Shrek.
I know it
Um,
should have been a little puffier.
yeah, yeah, and that's it. And you know what? I all the actresses that are in these Disney movies, their eyes are like 10 feet apart, and I don't understand what's going on. They all look like they're in.
I don't know.
They all look like they're in Alita Battle Angel.
Well,
So
I liked Rachel Zegler in Shazam, Power of the Gods, or whatever it was.
yeah,
She was good in that.
yeah, and that's funny thing
But the
is
thing is, what sunk this movie was two things. First, it was when they accidentally leaked the seven,
hippies.
yeah, whatever you want to call them, whatever
There
they
are
called
seven
them, I
hippies.
can't remember.
Yeah,
And then her interviews.
yeah.
Those two things sunk the
Yeah.
film right away.
And I haven't seen it. So here's for everybody
Hmm.
that's criticizing. I haven't
I'll,
seen
I'll
it.
watch it when it comes on Disney Plus.
I like Gal Gadot playing the queen that's envious of her is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah,
I
I know.
mean, ridiculous.
Yeah,
They should have had someone like the actress who plays Agatha or someone like that. You know what I
there you
mean?
go. Yep.
You know what I mean? Catherine, I forget her last name, but like an actress who is like wonderful and
She's attractive, but not drop dead gorgeous.
right. I mean, yeah, not like, like you can't have Margot Robbie or Gal Gadot playing the queen that's
Right,
envious of Rachel Zegler. It just doesn't
right.
make sense. So, with that said, that's my review. My review is your casting people are retarded.
Hmm.
But getting back to it, I kind of like what I've been seeing for for the Lanterns series, even though they've only shown one picture. I think the guy playing Hal Jordan is a good representation.
He's too old.
Um, he is old, but I think he's supposed to be,
I
but
think they're either going to kill him off or they're going to make him a villain.
no, I think it's just going to be a buddy cop film, a
Yeah,
buddy
but the
cop.
thing is, so why are two super-powered Green Lanterns doing murder mysteries on Earth?
I don't know, but I like the idea of it. If that
Mhm.
is the elevator pitch, I dig it.
Right.
But
Now, I wouldn't mind, basically like what's his name, Bendis's powers, Bendis and um, what how you say,
yeah,
Oming's
yeah, yeah,
Power series, where they
yeah, yeah,
investigated
yeah.
superhero
Well,
murders.
well, again, though, we don't know. We don't know what the show's
Right.
totally about.
Right.
But from what I've
Well,
seen,
it's going to be about John Stewart.
maybe,
No, it
maybe.
is. It
No, I
is.
think no, I think it's gonna be a buddy cop thing with the both of them. I
Mhm.
really do, and I hope that. I hope that's the case
Right.
because I noticed the guy Kyle, the guy named Kyle. I forget his last name too, but the
Mhm.
guy that's playing Hal Jordan, he looks a lot buffer than usual in a lot of
Right.
shows, and he's
Right.
and he's a really good actor.
Mhm.
So I hope it is what it is, and it is called the Lanterns and not
Yeah.
Lanterns. So we'll
Right.
see what happens. But I'm hoping it's like Lethal Weapon
Mhm.
as Green Lantern meets Lethal Weapon. I hope that's
Right.
what's going on.
Right.
And James Gunn does has a good nostalgic sensibility for things like that,
Mhm.
in what he's
I don't know.
done.
I'm kind of worried about Superman.
I'm not.
You see Guy
I'm not.
Gardner?
I like it. I don't mind. I don't mind. I'm a
I
big
um
I'm a
I th-
big Justice League International fan, so I
I
love
think
it.
he's trying to introduce too many people all at once.
I
The
do,
same
but
the same thing did with Black Adam.
I do, but I have a feeling
Mhm.
that this is going to be different.
I
And I
hope
have a
so.
feeling
I mean,
that
I'm gonna go into it with an open
I
mind.
think
You know,
everybody teases all the characters just to get everybody
Mhm.
excited.
Right?
I'm not even going to comment on that whole doomsday chair thing with the 50
Oh
people
God.
starting. Like, why would you even divulge that?
Right.
But
Well,
whatever.
not
I
only
mean,
that is why would you do that to your fans? A 5.5 hour live
well,
stream.
I missed it. I got the recap where it was all in 2 minutes. But
Right. Well, I came in right after it ended.
well, the truth of
I
the
just
matter is,
happened to be flipping through YouTube and I saw where it just ended.
the
You
truth of the
know,
matter, the truth of the matter is, it's the whole thing sounds like desperate to me. Like, why would you bring back all these Fox X-Men for? I
right?
don't.
Why aren't you bringing back the first class X-Men?
Well, fuck
They're
that.
all
Why,
younger.
why don't you just bring back the fucking Avengers? Black
Right.
Widow and shit. What the fuck
Well,
is this going on?
Black Widow's dead. Iron
Where's the
Man's dead.
where's the Hulk? Where the
Right.
fuck? You know. But on the bright side, I'm
He was getting
actually
shamed by his cousin.
yeah, but actually, I'm interested in seeing Thunderbolts for whatever
Oh yeah,
perverse
that looks interesting.
reason. I'm
Yep.
interested in seeing Sentry, and I love
Yep.
seeing Bucky
Yep.
in anything,
I agree.
because something has to redeem that Captain America, that the Winter Soldier Falcon show,
Hmm.
where Bucky was done dirty the whole fucking show.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Bucky to me is great. The Winter Soldier, excuse me, is a great character, and
Yep.
I love David Harbour as the Red Guardian and all that,
Mhm.
and I love the white, the new Black Widow,
Right.
Yelena or whatever.
Yep. Elena
Um,
Belova.
I like the whole thing.
Why they
So
put Taskmaster and Ghost in there, I can't figure
and I
out.
love
But
seeing Louis Dreyfus playing,
oh yeah,
what's her face,
Madam Hydra,
yeah.
Viper.
Well, no, she plays no, she's not Madam Hydra.
Oh,
She's Nick
Valentina.
Fury's
Yes.
Yeah, Valentina.
Yeah.
So I like that whole thing. One day we're gonna get a Nick Fury, David Hasselhoff.
But didn't they make Valentina an actual one of the Madam Hydras? I
I
thought they
think
did.
so at some point,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I
but
think that's who she's supposed to be.
oh, okay. Well, I'm just excited that there's a Thunderbolts and that
Yep.
it's a good, it looks like Marvel version of the Suicide Squad.
Exactly.
And that's fine. And
And
I think
Sentry doesn't die in it, so
right, yeah, so that's good. And I like from what I've seen of Sentry, it
mhm,
looks cool.
yep. See, I
And
think when they did the live stream for Doomsday, they should have had each actor come out and sit in the chair. And as they sat in the chair, they brought the next chair with the next name. You know.
I just think they were desperate as fuck. It's like
Mhm,
it looks desperate. It's
yeah.
like ridiculous.
I mean, they're bringing back Namor.
It's like It's like, look what they did with Deadpool and Wolverine, right? That with all those cameos, with all those special people in there,
Oh, I
they
thought that
didn't,
was a blast.
but they didn't tease any of them ahead of time.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean? Other than Lady Deadpool and the Deadpool core, you didn't get
right.
teased about anything.
I
You
know. As
didn't,
soon as everybody
you
saw
didn't,
Chris Evans,
you
they
didn't,
thought
yeah,
Captain America. Everybody
exactly.
forgot about Human
And it was
Torch.
fantastic. And that's the thing. And I don't, I just looks desperate to me. But I
Mhm.
still, but I still, but I still like, and I know you probably don't think the same way, but I still like Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom.
Mm.
I think because of this alternate universe thing,
Right. I think
they're
that's
gonna
what they're gonna do.
they're
Well,
tying in
he's not gonna be Victor Von Doom though.
right, but they're tying in his death with this other Doctor Doom
Right.
somehow. I don't and as hokey as the whole thing looks and sounds, I still trust the Russo brothers because they really have I
Right.
haven't seen they haven't done anything really wrong yet.
No.
So,
Nope. Not at all.
I mean, I really honestly, can't say that they have missed on anything.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I gotta say that. Kevin Feige might be losing it, but I don't think the Russo brothers are going
Right.
to. I think they're gonna at least swing for the fences and
Well, the next thing I'm worried about is it's gonna be something like The Flash, where they're gonna be going through all the multiverses, and you're just gonna see a quick flash of like the X-Men,
yeah,
or something like that.
they might, but whatever. But at least it'll be done better in the Flash.
Yes. Oh, that was awful. I'm so glad I didn't see that in the theaters.
So, and speaking of the Flash, Nicolas Cage, man, he's going to be in that Spider-Man Noir, which I'm excited about seeing that. I don't
Hmm.
think that's a bad move,
Yeah.
and that's the real thing. That's not a fan.
I'll say I haven't heard about that yet.
Oh yeah, no, no,
Okay.
they're Disney is making a live action,
Mm.
or Sony, whoever it is making a live action Spider-Man Noir show with
Hmm.
Nicolas Cage, and it's not animated; it's live
Right.
action.
Right.
And see, that's what's weird because that's under the radar,
Hmm.
and that's being made, that's being produced, and supposedly it's pretty decent.
Right. It makes me wonder, would Spider-Man Noir fall under the Spider-Man umbrella? Because he was created way after that deal, you know.
Right? Yeah, and he might
But
not be.
it is still Peter Parker. But
Yeah, it's going to be on Disney. I don't know if it's Peter Parker. It's multiverse character. I'm not
well,
sure.
Noir is a Peter Parker.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know.
He's just from like the 30s.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not sure. But Nicolas
Right.
Cage, of course, voiced him in the animated films,
Yeah.
which is pure
Well,
Sony.
that's one of the reasons why they created Miles Morales,
Yeah, of
is
course.
because they were hoping that he would take off enough where they could basically just eliminate Peter Parker.
Right. Well,
But there's too many fans out there that said
Peter
no.
Parker, yeah, Peter Parker it will last forever.
Mhm.
Speaking of Peter Parker, I've been reading Ultimate Spider-Man all this time,
Yep, that's good.
and I love it. I
Mhm.
love it. There was one
Some
issue,
of the issues are a little slow.
but there was one issue where it was a Christmas issue, and
Yep.
Spider-Man wasn't in it at all it was
Right.
Mary Jane in her house talking. But
Yep.
then, talk about a what the fuck moment, that last 2 pages
Yep.
when you realize it's not him,
Mhm.
that's fucking cool, and I think
Yep.
it's Venom or whatever. My point is though is that shit's cool, and it's a good book, and I'm actually impressed with
Right.
Hickman's journey on that because
I just hope he doesn't follow through with what he usually does. It always seems like Hickman starts with this huge storyline that is all encompassing, and then
right,
he gets bored with it, and he either just ends it or he lets somebody else pick up the loose ends.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
he's gone 15 issues now, and it's pretty
Yeah.
solid still.
Right.
In fact, speaking of Craven, when they were in Craven's world there and in the Savage Land, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep.
I've been reading. Speaking of thank Doctor Doom again too, I read I read the first issue of what is it?
World
Uh,
Under Doom.
World Under Doom, and I kind
Yeah.
of like that. I kind of like that too.
My issue with that is Doom is a dictator.
Yeah,
Okay. And now suddenly, well, actually, I shouldn't say suddenly. Over the years, they've kind of made it where he cared about the people in his country very, very much, but only if they did exactly what he told them to do.
sure. Well,
But now they're kind of making him out to be this super benevolent guy that wants to give everything free to everybody,
right.
and now you have the superheroes fighting that.
Well, speaking of that, though, did you see in that first issue that throwback with the woman and her child to the classic John Byrne run. That in the middle in the end of the issue, she's like, "Doom will save us" or
Oh,
something.
yes. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like that's like almost swiped directly from one of the
Right.
Byrne classics.
Yep.
And the Fantastic Four go to battle Doom, and they're horrified the fact that the people love him and that he's a
Right.
better ruler than anybody that
Right.
was took over. I
But
kind of
also, though, the way it looks like, though, is that they're making it where he's not going to be an iron-fisted ruler for the
right,
Earth,
yeah, but
and that's not Doom.
yeah, but that's just a bait and switch. They're gonna then make him
Yeah.
into a crappy
Well,
guy.
the next thing is that bothered me really is how does Doctor Strange give away the Sorcerer Supreme? It's a title.
Right.
That's all it is. If Doctor Doom wanted to be Sorcerer Supreme, all he had to do is defeat Strange,
Yeah.
and now he's Sorcerer Supreme.
Well, to be honest,
It's not here you go.
to be honest with you, I kind of like miss that.
Did you?
So like, yeah, so I'm just like, because I don't read a lot of titles.
Yeah,
Like,
that was the end of Blood Hunt.
yeah, so I just picked up this World Under Doom or whatever, and I'm like, oh, he's wearing the cape. How'd that happen?
Yeah.
Sort of. And I didn't really question, because again, like as a comic book reader, I'm going to remind everybody our age
Hmm.
that we would pick up comics in the 70s and not know what the hell was going on. All
Right.
of a sudden Magneto's a good guy or a bad guy, or Doctor
Right.
Doom's a good guy or a bad guy. And, we had all those Marvel team up books with the
Hmm.
Thing and Submariner and this and
Yep.
that, and
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man and Dazzler and all this
Well, hell,
shit.
the first issue I ever bought was Fantastic Four 178, and the splash page is a thing floating in the negative zone.
Right.
I had no idea what was going
So,
on with that.
right.
I was like 9 years old.
Right. And the thing is, pun intended, you don't know what's going on because it's fantasy. And unless
Right.
you follow the continuity over years, who the fuck cares? I mean, it's like everybody that complains about, like, I just, and I'm not going to do it here. The tea that I'm spilling is about personal stuff, not about comics. Comic books are wonderful. Just read them, enjoy them,
Right.
get what you want out of them. The people that just go around like bitching about this and that. First of all, I don't understand. Now you're seeing me on the screen. My letters on my hat are reversed. I don't understand what happened. That's never happened before. Anyway.
They're right for me.
Oh, they are? Oh, okay, it's just
Yeah.
me because 'cause I'm looking at myself. All right, good deal.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Mine's right. Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yours is
Mine's right.
all right, that's my paranoia kicking in. Anyway, it's probably because I'm looking at the camera that's recording me.
Hmm.
But I gotta say something. It's like, the whole thing with comic books
Hmm.
is that comic books are like, I'm working on a comic book right now. I mean, it's supposed to be fantasy. It's fun. This is
Right.
not a real person.
Hmm.
Like, so speaking of Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers,
Hmm.
I read some of those 76, well, it was 1976, 77, whatever.
77.
So, okay, so 77, like I don't have like what you probably have every issue, but like
Yep.
I have like issue 4, 5, 6, and 7, right?
Hmm.
And in the issues, she's talking about women's lib and
Yes.
how she's not making as much money as someone
Hmm.
else and blah blah
Yep.
blah. And like every tone of the book is chauvinistic and stupid and whatever.
Yeah.
That's because it's 1977.
Exactly.
In 2024, 23, 21, 25, whatever, and Carol Danvers is a badass,
Hmm.
it's because it's 2025 and she's got cosmic powers and she's
Right.
fucking badass. You were the biggest, Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel fan, whatever you
Hmm.
want to call her. But the point is that it's that, what are you going to do? Are you going to? I don't care whether Kelly Sue DeConnick or Chris Claremont is writing her. I don't
Hmm.
care who's writing her. Are you going to make her be like an idiot, or are you going to make her a badass, or are you going to do whatever?
Hmm.
But my point is, understand something very important. Every time a new creative crew comes on to a comic book, even though no matter how hard they want to respect the original creators,
Hmm.
they're still going to put their own twist on it. Okay.
Right.
John Byrne, when he did Man of Steel,
Hmm.
right, he's like the biggest Kurt Swan fucking Joe Simon, I mean Simon and Schuster, whatever the guy, Siegel and Schuster,
Mhm.
whatever the guy's names
Yep.
are. He's a big fan of them.
Mhm.
He still made his own book.
But you
Okay.
see that this is the thing though. This is what a lot of modern writers don't seem to understand. The characters have a set voice.
Oh, no doubt.
Okay. And the problem is these new writers don't know that voice.
Of course, because they haven't
John
read
Byrne understood it all, you
because
know.
Byrne read it
Right.
in its
It's just like with Perez with Wonder Woman. He
right,
understood Wonder Woman.
right,
But people today, like you mentioned Kelly Sue DeConnick, she doesn't understand Carol Danvers and her voice.
right,
She was always unsure of herself. Now, granted, they did the storyline when she was still Miss Marvel that she's supposed to be the greatest ever, blah blah blah. But
right,
still, her Marvel characters have flaws. Every
right,
single one of them is supposed to have a flaw,
right,
and that was one of Carol Danvers' flaws. Is she was always unsure of herself.
right,
She knew she had the power. She knew she could do this or that, but she was always unsure of herself. They totally took that away when they made her Captain Marvel.
right,
When,
right,
when they made her Captain Marvel, she's now the Mary Sue, where she has no flaws. She always succeeds. She never fails. And that's one of the things that hurt the movie is that she didn't have any sacrifice. I think we talked about this before.
yeah,
Where I think if they would have killed um, Maria Rambeau up in space, and she had to
right,
come down and tell Monica that her mother died,
right,
and that was the reason why she was able to overcome the Kree control. Okay, that would
right,
have made her more relatable.
right,
But just make her the ultimate badass, where nothing ever goes wrong.
right,
Everything she does, it comes out the exact way it's supposed to be.
right,
But and the thing is, what I liked about the second movie, The Marvels, is they actually gave her flaws. She failed twice
right,
in that movie. She
sure,
failed to save the planet of the singing people, and
right,
she failed to save the Skrulls.
right,
Okay, and it would have been really good. The thing that hurt that movie to me the most was the big battle scene at the end wasn't a big battle scene.
right, right,
It was like,
right,
what? It's over? What do you
right,
mean? It just started.
right,
And then they have where, the evil character puts, well, spoilers, the evil character puts on the two bracelets and blows up. So what do? They
right,
let the teenager go, let me try it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no matter what, no one was going to see that movie, no matter
Yeah.
what. So, that's the thing that
I've
hurt
seen
it.
it multiple times. I saw it
I've
once
seen
in the
it.
theater and I
I've,
watched it a few times at home.
I've seen it several times at home, and I enjoyed it
Yep.
every time because it's a good film and it's
Yep.
entertaining.
Yes.
And you know what's fucked up about that? In
What's
that
that?
movie,
Hmm.
you know how many times Nick Fury has been in Avengers movies and his own
Oh,
movies and whatever.
yeah.
I actually liked his voice in that film.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
Marvels, it was like dead on what I expect from Nick Fury, or at
Right.
least that version of Nick Fury.
Right.
And that's cool. I thought both Marvel movies, Ms. Marvel, the Marvels and Captain Marvel, I thought they both captured Nick Fury a little better than usual.
Right.
Than the Avengers movies, which you don't even know if you're watching Nick Fury or not
Hmm.
most of the time.
Well, they
But
made him to be the ultimate Nick Fury from the Ultimates.
right.
Whereas the Marvels movie, it was more like Nick Fury of the old Shield.
Right. Exactly. And that was nice.
Yep.
But getting away from that too, I just think that the voice thing, you hit that on the head, the voice thing, but understand too is that the voices of some of the comics over the years has been
Hmm.
just screwed up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Chris Claremont, speaking of, totally off subject, but like
Hmm.
he was not Cyclops
Hmm.
voice and tone changed so many times over the years,
Hmm.
almost depending on the artist sometimes.
Right.
And Wolverine's voice changes
Hmm.
from time to time. And even people that have lived closely and forged the voice that we know for these
Hmm.
characters, they even screw up because
Right.
they get bored. I like to look at comics from a different aspect, and I want
Hmm.
everyone to understand this. Anyone that's watching this in replay, because no one's watching now, but we get
Hey, I put it out on X and I put it on a post on YouTube.
but understand.
So I guess none of my people want to see me either.
I'm going to come at this from another entertainment aspect. I'm a musician, an artist, a songwriter. Just like the Beatles, the Who, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, whatever. The classic, real Bob Dylan. People that are musicians, songwriters, they
Tom
can't
Scholes.
they can't they can't repeat the same trick over and over again without dying inside as an artist.
Right.
What I mean by that is even if Jack Kirby creates the Fantastic Four, along with Stan, at a certain point, he's going to try some different things.
Right.
And I'm just saying that these fictional characters who we love so much, the voices are going to change a little bit because of the times, because of the trends, because of politics, because of society. And she loves you, and I want to hold your hand. Are light years away from I Am the Walrus and Sergeant Pepper's.
Right.
And or Maxwell Silverhammer or whatever, or Revolution, or the whole last second side of Abbey Road. There's a big difference there. Now, does that mean it's not the same artist or the same voice? It is. It is.
Well, that's where I think that it's.
But
the issue is it's still the same voice. It's just a different style.
Batman, this comic that I have behind me in a poster that's autographed by Neil Adams.
Right.
The Joker. When he came on that, he was totally different.
Right. But you also got to remember the Joker hadn't appeared in any comic books for 10 years.
But that's all I'm saying, though, is that's the same thing that we could
So there is a whole generation that missed the Joker.
Right. But we could say that about Dr. Doom. We could say that about, and I know that Dr. Doom was always in the comics here and there. We could say that Cyclops and Wolverine and Captain Carol Danvers and whatever, they're all around. But truth be told, things change. And to quote Bob Dylan, the answer, my friends, is blown in the wind. No, that's not what I'm saying. But changes. You better start swimming. You better start swimming, or you'll sink like a stone because the times are changing. Now, that doesn't mean that you abandon stuff. Case in point, my own Venerella. In the course of writing Venerella 2, I wanted a drastic change for the end of my arc. And for anybody who's read it, you see that there is a drastic one. Venerella goes from a princess, a royal princess, to being a refugee, pretty much, the third issue. The fourth issue is so revelatory to me because I finally get to write a Star Wars show. I finally get to write a Star Wars comic because that's what Venerella 4 is coming out. When I do Venerella 4, imagine Venerella is a rebel.
I was going to say a rebel or revolutionary.
Fighting the Empire. And I love that feel as opposed to what the first 3 issues were like. Nikki is going to be the Empire, the Darth Vader of the book, and Venerella is the Skywalker, so to speak. But the best thing is, or the Rogue, or the Andor. But the truth of the matter is, she's bad. She did some bad stuff and she's paying for it. And when Venerella comes back, she's still going to be in the wrong. Nikki is more in the right than Venerella, by far. But that is the way I'm presenting it, that it's going to be a lot of gray area on who the antagonist and who the protagonist is. In fact, I want to argue that they're both going to be antagonists. Misty America, on the other hand, is all pro. She is the protagonist. Everybody she's fighting is totally evil, bad, whatever, terrorist, anti this, whatever. But that's what's happening. And Misty America number 3, which I am 6 pages away from completing and 7 days away from the campaign ending. It's going to be a big, big, big boom at the end. And maybe I kill her. Maybe I kill her off. I don't know. The way my sales have been going, I think I should just the sales have been going. I think I should just concentrate on Venerella and Nikki and martial law,
Right.
Martian law, because I like the space stuff a lot better. Even though
Right.
Misty, first character I created in my crowdfunding campaigns,
Mhm.
and Misty goes back 3 or 4 years ago.
Right.
Truth of the matter is, Venerella catches on. People want to. I have you don't even know. One Gun. Did you ever hear One Gun? Uh,
No.
he's a comic skater. He's got a new art book coming out,
Hmm.
and in his art book, he's got pages, pinups of Venerella. In
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, so he's got my character featured in his book.
Oh, nice.
And the thing is, I get stuff sent to me all the time. People drawing Venerella,
Oh,
and
nice.
it's pretty, it's humbling because they seem to like that character a lot, and
Hmm.
I think she's got legs, whereas Misty's on life support right now.
Right.
But I'm gonna stick it out and see what happens.
But hey, just remember when you come to my house, you get to see your comics on a spinner rack.
That's true. I do. Yeah,
Yes.
and that is quite an experience. And let's just speak about who else is on your spinner rack. So I brought up also, to go with algorithms tonight. I put
Mhm.
Dan Fraga's name in my
Title.
in my YouTube video because Dan Fraga has turned into a total crazy person,
I noticed that.
a crazy person. Black Flag. He's been working on that for 5 years now.
Yep.
5 years, way before COVID,
Hmm.
starting maybe 2019, early 2019.
I
He's
don't even remember when it was.
maybe even longer.
Hmm.
But here's the tea I'm gonna spill. So Dan has gone nuclear on all the Kings.
Hmm.
Okay. And the whole impetus behind it was that he was getting on Davis and Malin and EVS and stuff for really coming down on PTP. Okay.
Right.
So,
Well, no, it mainly was because Malin and Davis were making fun of Reenie and some other
right.
girl.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
You
But,
know.
but, but then he went full PTP and
Right.
talked
Right.
about, he was blaming them for throwing PTP under the bus and not helping out PTP when it came to that Dale Keown pit omnibus. Okay.
Hmm.
That was a big contention thing.
Right.
And anybody that's seen the convention circuit or whatever knows that Dan, instead of working on his own book, was doing work for PTP with Johnny Phantasm and all that stuff. But
Right.
long story short, here's the tea I'm going to spill. In 2021, I'm at MegaCon in
Hmm.
Orlando talking to PTP. Okay, so this is almost a year before his Dale Keown situation,
Hmm.
a year before the Dungeoneers shit. Okay, we're again
Right.
going back to 2021. Okay,
Hmm.
the first year after COVID convention. PTP is there, and I'm at the convention talking to him. And I am just a fan. I'm not a comic skate king. I'm not a Dungeoneer. I'm nobody to this guy.
Hmm.
I'm a fan saying, "Hey, I like seeing you on Comicsgate streams or EBS streams or whatever, or the Ballers with Mandy and them or whatever the thing is." Right? He comes out of the blue and says, "Fuck all those people, all those comic book kings. They're so successful, they don't leave room for any of us to make any money." And then he went on a tirade about
Hmm.
how late all their books were,
Hmm.
whether it was Mandy's thing, whether it was Dale Keown's thing, whether it was Black Flag. So that's the thing, is that he's all on this train of, I hate all you guys because you didn't support Dan Fraga. And he personally told me Dan Fraga's a joke. Dan Fraga's this guy who's been
Well.
working on this book for 3 years.
Yep.
And he was dissing him just as hard as, and then he went on saying Mandy Summers has no talent
Hmm.
and she's just, a piece of ass that they like to look at, and she's like not got no talent at all, and can't
Right.
write, and all this stuff, and she's fake, fake comic book fan and all this. And he went on and on and on. And I'm just a guy standing at his table hearing
Right.
all this. And he
Mhm.
literally was backstabbing every single guy
Yep.
that he was appearing at the time on streams with.
Mhm.
Every single person. So, Mr. Fraga, if you're listening, I want you to know that give personal testimony that Patrick Thomas Purnell was backstabbing you and everybody in
Mhm.
Comicsgate, poisoning the well. You know that term,
Mhm.
poisoning the well with random fans at MegaCon against all the Comicsgate kings and Comicsgate in general.
Right.
So everybody blames, EVS treated him bad and threw him out. No,
No, he
he
didn't.
I call him Patrick Thomas Parnell, Patrick Thomas poisoning the well. He was bad mouthing
Right.
every single artist except Billy Tucci.
I never liked seeing him on the streams. I never bought any of his campaigns. And you've seen this stuff because back then I was doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I bought everybody that was
Yep.
on
Yep.
EVS's streams.
Yep.
I bought all their books.
Yep.
But when it came to him, I didn't want to touch his stuff. There was just something about him I didn't
Yeah.
like.
But
You
my point is, everybody listening to me, the sound of my voice, let me tell you right off the bat, I
Right.
witnessed firsthand that he was backstabbing
Right.
everybody.
Yep.
Like
Oh, I
nobody.
totally believe it.
So that's my tea I'm spilling tonight. He was a backstabber then,
Mhm.
and he hasn't stopped. And hey, as a person, congratulations. Him and his wife just had a child.
Mhm.
He's still making his knockoff fake toys.
Right.
Um, that GoBots and Transformers and Dukes of Hazzard cars and whatever. I don't know how he makes
Right.
any money, but more power to him. Johnny Phantasm, believe it or not, is not a bad comic book. I read a
Right.
few issues. I actually liked it, but
Yep.
truth be told, I met him in person and he
Mhm.
backstabbed the shit out of everybody.
Right.
Not knowing who I was. I could have been EVS's little brother for all he knew.
Right.
But he was
Right.
just bad mouthing everybody. And what's funny is in 2021, at that time, he still had good standing with the crowd that he was
Right.
streaming.
Yep.
He was backstabbing, and
Two-Face.
the person he brought up the most was how late Dan Fraga was with his.
Right. Yep.
So
And to a point, I can understand Fraga being late because it's not his only job. That's his side gig.
right.
So he has to do his other work. So he's working, 8+ hours a day or whatever. Then he had the medical issue and he had to move and all this other
The
happy
only,
horse shit.
the only
But
weird thing that the
still,
weird
it's way too late.
the only weird thing that I don't understand is that it's only like a 32-page book. So
No, I
it's
thought
like,
it was 64.
no, I don't think so. That's the thing. It's not. I don't
Okay.
even think it's that long. And
Right.
truth be told, though, it's 5 years later. And to be honest with you, I've seen a lot of people speculating that the whole reason he came out with the Comicsgate tirade that he did
Mhm.
was so that he could not fulfill the book and take
It's
all the money,
possible.
which is totally possible. And you know
Right.
what? It is what it is. That's what you get when you crowdfund. You could get
Yep.
burned.
Oh, yeah.
I was late a year on a book, but
Right.
I was late a year because of a personal
You had
tragedy
issues.
in my house,
Yep.
and let me tell you something. I know it's nobody's business, but my father passed away a month ago, and
Right. It
I
takes a toll.
I didn't draw for a week, so I'm a little behind. But
Right.
I'm behind. I'm behind like 4 pages, and that's had to do with something with my marketing of Misty America
Mhm.
3 is that I had a personal tragedy with my father, and I wasn't interested in going on streams and promoting. So
Right.
the
Right.
fact
It's
that
understandable.
I'm almost at $850 is terrible and great at the same time because
Right.
I haven't promoted it anywhere or anyhow other than appearing on 2 shows. So in 60 days, I only appeared on 2 shows. So the fact that I'm selling anything is okay. But at the same time, I'm not trying to badmouth anyone. I don't think my success or failure is indicative of anyone else's success or failure. And that's the
No.
big problem.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem with all these indie creators.
Mhm.
Sure, if I was talking to EVS instead of Agent de Camp right now, I would be selling books.
Yep.
If EVS was making reviews of my books instead of Agent
Mhm.
de Camp, no offense against Agent de Camp, but I
Oh,
would be
I'm
selling
taking.
books. But the truth of the matter is, I'm not, and it is what it is. But anyway, let me see if I can present my Misty America page. Um,
Yes.
what do you call it? Um, has a little different thing going on. Okay, but let's see what I can do here. All right, so let's sharing that. Okay, I guess you see that in front of you.
Yep.
All right, good deal. So, Missy America 3,
Mhm.
16 backers. Let's go here. Let me get like 30 backers. Got some pages. I'm gonna go a little
Mhm.
slow. Here we go. We got some pages. We got some
And you
pages.
have the best deal in Comicsgate.
That's right. What is it? Here it is.
Yep.
Um, it's okay. Here's cover A,
Mhm.
cover B. Nice Marvel type cover.
Yep.
Cover C, I got a little Sable ripoff from
Mhm.
WWF. Cover D, we got a beautiful Chelsea Ann cover again. Got a little Charlie's Angels
Mhm.
homage.
Yep.
Cover F, we have Oh My God, Kira, Lady Seraph returns to
Mhm.
the comic books by popular demand because I actually had someone in St. Augustine say, "Please put Lady Seraph back in your comics." I'm like, "I did," but here's the bundle that he was talking about.
Yep.
All 6 variant covers plus 5 trading cards. In fact, it's now 6 trading cards. Only
Nice.
$35, only $35 plus shipping. Okay.
Mhm.
So, and then original art packages. If this one is still up for grabs,
Mhm.
this wrestling one has been sold.
And the nice thing about your art, your original art, is if you buy that, you still get all 6 issues and the 6 trading cards.
Yes, you're getting an 11 by 17,
Mhm.
an 11 by 17 piece of original art. And then you're getting all 6 issues.
Mhm.
And then you're also getting 6 trading cards.
Yep.
And you're probably getting some promotional posters for my first 2 issues.
Right.
Because let's face it, I might have some extra and I'm going to throw them in anyway. So
Right.
you're getting a whole bunch of stuff. Like, look at that. This is still available. Cover B, more Misty. It's
Mhm.
Misty and her whole commando squad. What a great cover. There's
Yep.
boobs, there's swords, there's Uzis.
Yep.
There's actually Lady Seraph from my Oh My God series in the background
Mhm.
joining the fray.
Yep.
It's 150, what is it, $200 for the cover. It
Mhm.
includes shipping, by the way, which folks like Agent DeCamp know that I screwed up various times over the years and didn't include shipping in the package. And this one includes shipping. So
Mhm.
it's $200 out the door. You get an 11 by 17 Bristol board, original one of one
Yep.
cover. You get all 6 variant covers. You get 5 exclusive trading cards, and that is 6 trading cards because I did a bonus card for subscribers, but I'm going to wind up giving them to everybody.
Nice.
But
Like I
because
said, you have the best deals in Comicsgate.
I do, and the thing is that the whole reason why I'm not selling stuff like crazy is because people are unaware of that. So the more projects I do, like Veneral 4, it's going to be the same deal. I'm going to have 5 or 6 covers, all for $35,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to have these original art packages. And as Agent DeCamp has seen, I already have 1 or 2 covers done for the next issue of Venerella.
Yep.
So, it is what it is. I'm sitting at my art desk while we're having this discussion.
Mhm.
And also too, if you're new and you're seeing this for the first time, please pick up I got back issues for only $10,
Mhm.
and very limited supply available because I'm running out of them. But it is what it is. And I'm gonna stop sharing right now. Uh, I'm not gonna play the video because um, ironically, the video has a copyright on it, even though it's my music.
Yeah, I know. It hit my my
Uh,
video for it.
so ridiculous. It's my music.
Mhm.
It's my band. Yet there's
Well,
a
it says it gave me the copyright, but it wasn't a strike. It says that it's allowed to be used on YouTube.
right, exactly. But
Mhm.
it's still retarded because it's written by me.
Right.
In other words, even if Spotify or Xbox or PlayStation still has that music up,
Mhm.
it's literally it's copyrighted to me. It's like
Right.
my name is there. It says copyright 2020, whatever, 2019, Anthony Sika, when it was
Right.
copyrighted. So the idea that I can't share or use my own music that I wrote, that's available also on my YouTube channels. Like
Hmm.
Luna Dementia is
Right.
the band. I mean, I'm the administrator of that channel, and
Right.
for some reason YouTube is even telling me it's copyrighted when I share it. And what's weird is I made the video with the original file that's on my desktop that I
Mhm.
put there. It's like I recorded it with my band, and the only reason the MP3 exists is because it's mine.
Right.
So that's a whole other thing that's neither here nor there. But funny as it is, I have a copyright on it. It's got, it's no problem playing in America, so anybody can watch the trailer and whatever. But
Right.
the truth be told is that, it's my song by my band, and I
Right.
wrote. And what's weird is the song even in question, I wrote not only the lyrics but the music, so it's actually mine,
Mhm.
and I can't play it for some reason, but or I can,
Well,
and
the
it
thing is, it's not a strike. What it is, I
right.
believe, if I might be incorrect, is I think that if I actually had enough people to be monetized,
And me too. Yeah, I wouldn't.
any money I make from that video that featured it would go to you.
Right, but it's
You
not
know,
going to me because I can't even get it to me, and it's mine.
right?
So
Well, we're not monetized.
I have it's some weird thing that people. I think it's either BMI or ASCAP or whoever we have it copyrighted through. I think it's
Oh,
something
okay.
that we don't pay for anymore. Yet the copyright's still there, and I don't know
Wow.
why. But
Okay.
whatever, it is what it is. But please feel free to visit that Indiegogo page that I just showed for Misty
Mhm.
America 3.
Yep. Back Misty America
Please,
3. Best
please,
deal in Comicsgate.
please,
Back it
please,
now.
please, subscribe to this channel, like this video. Please comment on it later. Please, add my subscription,
Hello.
and all that. Okay. And we will continue to carry on and publish Misty America
Was that
3.
the wife saying, "Who are you talking to? Who's that fat old
No, it's
man?"
the wife saying something's going on in the backyard that I have to check out. So yeah, so but yeah, so Misty America 3, it's funding right now, 7 days left.
Mhm.
I'm actually inking 2 pages tonight for it, finishing up a page, panel
You know what
page.
you need to do is you need to make some shorts.
I'm wearing shorts. Does that count?
Well, no, not the ones that you sew.
Yeah, I've been making shorts on YouTube, but my
Have you?
problem
Because I don't see them in my stream.
my problem is they're just me with, covers and stuff instead of having Snow White in them. So I gotta just
Right.
feature more Snow White,
Well, no,
more
what
Snow
you gotta
White.
say is you just gotta have Snow White in the title and say this is
Right,
not Snow White.
exactly. Or, just say this is Snow White.
This
This
is
is
not pure driven
this
snow.
this is my review of Snow White by
Right.
Misty America 3.
Yep.
And
Just show artwork. Just
Magic Mirror. Yeah, I know.
yeah.
Anyway, Mr. DeCamp,
Yes.
it's getting near the time I'm gonna be checking out.
I hear you, Mr. Sika.
I gotta hit work. I gotta work tomorrow morning, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna finish up a page tonight,
Nice.
see what's going on in my backyard, and go from there. But thank you for joining
Sounds
me.
awesome. It's my pleasure.
It's great. We need to do some videos together. We need to
I
talk about
agree.
comics. We need to talk about pop culture. We need to talk about our
I know. I've been thinking about doing a live stream.
receding hairlines. We need to be doing all that stuff.
You don't
Okay.
have a hairline.
Yeah. Oh, good point. All right. I would have, no, I do when you want it. It's just
Oh,
it
okay.
starts here. Anyway, I got the Stanley Tucci hairline.
There you go.
Anyway, this is Anthony Sika, creator, writer, artist of Misty America, signing off, telling you please support America, Misty America
Yes.
#3, only on Indiegogo right now. Also, go to Department of Comics
And subscribe.
on YouTube, subscribe, leave comments,
You
and
get to see stuff that I pick up.
right, you get to see stuff that he picks up on the
Gold edition.
regular. And also, to be honest with you, I have 2 long boxes 10 feet away from me
Uh-huh.
of things that I've picked up in the last 6 months that I haven't shown anybody, and I would
Mhm.
really love to, because like even like for example, like Dan Fraga, copy of the
Yep.
Berserkers.
Mhm.
Stuff like that. I randomly pick up back issues of everything all the time.
Look
So,
what I got at Ollie's.
wow, Walt Disney's Alice in
This is
Wonderland.
a $49.99 cover price,
Now, see, I thought
and
Alice
I
in
got it
Wonderland.
for $7.99.
I thought the Alice in Wonderland they made was pretty good. The Disney live
Comes
action.
with the Blu-ray.
Oh, very nice. Very
Yes,
nice.
and it tells how it was made.
Very
Not the
nice.
Blu-ray, the story.
Here's a what, a 50-something-year-old man buying Alice in Wonderland Blu-rays?
58.
58 at Ollie's.
Well, I have the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs on Laserdisc, the box set.
Really? On
Yes.
Laserdisc? And do you have
Yes.
a way to still play that?
Yes, I do.
Wow. All right.
I
Well,
just fixed it
we're going to have a party at
at the
Asian,
Department of Comics.
and we are going to watch a Laserdisc
Yes.
of
The original
the
Snow
original
White
Snow White
and the
and the
Seven Little People.
seven midgets. Anyway, ciao.
All right, my
Hasta la
friend.
vista.
Bye,
Rock
everybody.
on. Peace out. Live long and prosper. Bye bye.